didn't bother asking the desk clerk. He knew it was Owen. He popped up the stairs and slammed the door. And Owen just quietly left him for the moment. The next day he brought it up, something about, I forget how he would have brought it up, but that was funny because, it takes a bit of doing to get the sheet to, with his bad back and everything, lace up those 42 eyelets on each boot, and all the way down, like a ham, and asking the desk, where's everybody, they're taking pictures of me, and they say, no, they're not, show's over, buddy, you fly out in the morning, go back,
Now, we do have some callers on the line who want to share some stories. All right, caller from the 516, you were on the air.
Yeah, I would say my favorite Owen story is probably when Triple H made fun of him when he was part of the Nation of Domination, and I forget the guy who did the exact voice of Owen Hart, and Owen Hart couldn't stop laughing at it.
Jason Sensation?
Yeah, Jason Sensation. Is there any other memories that you'd like to share?
Yeah, my other favorite memory is back in, I would say, the early part of the 90s when I went to a wrestling when I was in the Cub Scouts, and Owen Hart took my whole Cub group backstage, and Owen Hart, gave us the Canadian flag signed by him and Bret Hart and the whole family, and I remember Owen Hart's famous last words to me were to wish me the best luck in the future, and it still stays to me to this day.
Well, I'd like to thank you for calling in and sharing your memories.
Oh, it was a pleasure, and keep up the great work, guys. You guys have the best wrestling thing out there on the internet.
Thank you very much.
That was nice, Joe.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, Smith Hart, this is Missionary from Wrestling Soup. I actually had a question for you. Being the oldest son of the Hart family, you must have seen everybody grow up, and you were probably a big role model, for your brothers and stuff like that. Can you probably tell us some of the advice or some advice that you gave Owen back when he was a kid?
Yeah, Owen was a pretty damn good kid, and he had lots of advice from brothers closer in age to him than I, but I basically told him that, my advice in general was go after what you want with a vengeance, don't let anything deter you from your dreams.
No.
Owen was such a good little guy. Everybody loved him. He was like our mascot. We used to almost dress him up and stuff. We'd dress him up like a little punk, and get him a black leather jacket and grease his hair down and stuff, and send him to school like us, like some, not that we were all punks or anything, but Owen, when you're in high school, you dress a certain way, and when you're in, grade school, you dress a certain way. Owen was dressing like high school kids, so we gave him custom-made leather jackets and stuff that would fit his small, physique in those days. And he was a tough kid, Owen. He always started up from doing something. He was always climbing a tree or getting stranded on a roof or something, and neighbor kid, little Malcolm Todd, was kind of a had a vicious streak in him, possibly, but I remember he whacked going across the head with a board or something, and gave one a kind of a scar on his nose. And Owen always had, his fingernails worn down to nothing, and his, scrapes and bruises and black eye and stuff from little scraps and stuff. And he wasn't a troublemaker at all, but he was like Dean, maybe the next most in the family like Dean. He didn't take any crap from anybody. But he didn't deserve any. I mean, that was the difference between those two. They didn't really ask for trouble, but somebody wanted to serve it to them. They'd dish it right back. So
I was kind of curious. Do you remember the moment or what it was, or specifically, obviously, the family is a major part of it, but do you remember what it was that Owen finally decided to get into the wrestling business?
Well, he saw Bruce doing very well. Bruce is one of the most popular wrestlers in Calgary ever, and he and Owen were kind of a similar size, and Brad had gone off to the WWF at the time, and we were, still struggling with wrestling, running it, not exactly competing with the WWE, but, with all their power production and all that, our small time production wasn't really a match, and we developed some talent, and we were developing new talent at the same time. But you know, there's no comparison to the WWE. But Owen and Bruce, you know, sort of filled the gap there, maybe teaming up where it was Bruce and Brett, or you know, now Bruce and Owen. And Keith was still wrestling, but he had other interests as well. But you know, just Owen filled the gap there. He was a good amateur wrestler, and he was serious weight trainer, and he actually wanted to be a firefighter, like his brother Keith and his brother-in-law BJ. But so he could stay home. It wasn't that he loved putting out fires. He really wanted to be a homebody and, you know, take care of his wife, and you know, his kids were coming then, and he actually wasn't even married then, I suppose. But I mean, you know, Owen he planned. He was a smart person. Like, he got his teaching degree, and he probably never used it because he was such a good wrestler. He just immediately went from you know, graduating university to wrestling. And you know, so he was a top star in our circuit at the time, and you know, that's a great tribute to Owen.
Now, we actually do have on the line the Birdman, Coco Beware. He has a couple of stories. He's coming on live, so he is on with us right now. Coco, how are you doing?
Hey, brother, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. We actually have Smith Hart on the line with us right now. I do have a couple of questions for you. You know, you got to team with Owen for a while, and, you know, what are some good memories you'd like to share with our listeners about Owen?
Well, first of all, I want to say hello to Smith. Man, you know, man, he still, he always will be one of the Hart brothers in my life, and along with the Hart family. And so I just want to give my regards out to the Hart family, what happened to Owen, and like I said, don't nobody know the reason why but God, and hopefully that he'll have an answer for us one day. But it's so good to be back on the radio one more time, and some things that Owen and I have shared together. Man, I'm telling you, it was a great honor to be a part of Owen Hart. I mean, even to be a part of the Hart Foundation. That's why. You know, when you talk about Owen Hart, you talk about Stu Hart, the backbone of the family, of the Hart Foundation family.
That's great,
okay,
Coco. I'd like to say hello to you, too. You and Owen were probably the best singers that they ever had in all of the WWF. I thought you had a great voice, and Owen actually had a very good voice. He could really carry a tune, and he praised you a lot. He had nothing but good to say about Coco Beware, and we remember that, the Hart family, the Hart brothers.
Oh, yeah. You know, and I still don't know the reason why they stopped Owen and I from going all the way to the top in the WWE, because, man, we was red hot.
You were red hot.
Man, you talking about, yes, we was red hot, and I don't know why they pulled the plug. For some reason, they pulled the plug. I guess it was getting over too good. I don't know. I still don't know the day, you know.
I said you would hate to think that they pulled the plug because you're getting over too much. I mean, that's bad business. But I see the plug pulled on lots of situations and lots of people all too often. It makes no sense to me at all. I think they want the show to be bigger than life, but not any one individual. Because then you might be another Hulk Hogan where you hold them up or something. I don't know, but I guess they have their reasons. But you guys were gentlemen and would never held them up or put them on the spot. You just were getting over like hell, and you know, I can see that. And your music was great, and those videos, those DVDs and stuff they're making, that was all good merchandising.
Right. We was on our way to the mountaintop, and brother, and I just, like I said, even I tell you what, this is how much I get, how much I really know how much we was on fire. And, you know, your dad, your father, Stu, I call him my father, too, because, you know, he treated me like I was one of the boys there.
That's right.
Which I was. But,
yeah.
And, but he tell it like it is, what I'm saying. If he said, Coco, you was pitiful. You and Owen Hart are pitiful. Or this guy's pitiful. Or y'all not going nowhere. He just told it like it was, and brother, and that was being the real true person come out of him. And that's what's wrong today. A lot of the wrestling business they're not being truthful to each other. I mean, here it is. They just tell you what they want you to hear instead of telling you the truth. Say, hey, if you're messing up, tell somebody you're messing up. You know, I mean, but Stu Hart was the one that came to him and said, hey, you and my son, or y'all are my two sons, and y'all are red hot.
Coco, you're my brother. I regard you as a brother. You know, when my father died, Stu Hart, he had a picture of Luther Lindsay, my mother, and my sister Ellie Neidhart, in his wallet. That was all he had. No pictures of any of the boys or anybody else, but he had a picture of Luther Lindsay. Luther was about your size, and my dad loved Luther for his genuine.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I remind him of him.
Yeah, they feared Luther in Japan. You know, I went to Japan, and all these wrestlers, sumo wrestlers, and big giant wrestlers, you know, big stars of any circuit there in Tokyo, all had heard about Luther or actually wrestled him and feared him. He was deadly, but he was a nice guy. He didn't throw his weight around.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask you, you know, this is something we've asked a lot of the other guys, and we just have a couple more questions for you. And my next question is, you know, Owen was like the master of pranks. Did you ever see a rib, or did he ever pull a rib on you that really stands out?
Yeah, well, you know what, you just took the words out of my mouth, because I was just going to flow right on into all of that, and I appreciate that. Yes, you know, Owen, he was the type of guy that he loved to play ribs and stuff, along with those British Bulldogs. I mean, you know, and like I said, Owen never did rib me too much, but he just ribbed a lot of guys that I mean, just probably hit their pants and wrestling boots. There, you see one of the guys, can't remember now. One of the guys' wrestling boots was hanging up on the ceiling where he's getting ready to. He's looking for his boots all the whole time. Of course, we got there at like at 12 o'clock that evening, and then the show starts around about 6 or 7. Well, he couldn't find his boots when it was time to get dressed. He walked all around the Coliseum trying to find his boots and stuff, and he could never find one. Finally, about an hour later, his boots ended up by his bag in the dressing room. And man, he's a dirty, or he's a man, and he couldn't. Man, he was just going all over. All right, I want to know who did that. I want to know who ribbed the hell out of me. I want to know that. And man, we were just dying and laughing. Everybody was on the floor. I mean, that's just some of the clean ribs and stuff. I mean, we had some guys in the dressing room who did a lot of dirty ribs, and I don't want to say it on the air.
If Owen could have his fans remember him for one thing, personally, what does Coco B. Ware feel that Owen would want his fans to remember him for?
You know, I want him. He would want his fans to remember him the way he was, the way his family was, and stuff like that, and all the things he honored and he's been through, and his family, his own personal family, and you know. It's a lot of things that Owen wanted, you know, still want the fans to remember. Just remember him as Owen Hart, just the Blue Blazer, man, you know, and like I said, he will never be forgotten in my life, I mean, until the day I die, and I still is going to remember him when I'm dead. And, you know, he always, the Hart Foundation will always have a place in my heart, and that's just not because Smith is there. I'm just being real. That's how I feel about the whole Hart Foundation. You know, I don't know. I don't want to start naming all the names because I get them mixed up and stuff. But I'm just saying, you know, Brett and Owen was the only two that I was really, really around and really got close to. But all the rest of them, I knew them, but I didn't know them like I knew Brett and Owen. But it's still, you know. Man, I'm telling you, I would. That's something that he will never be forgotten, and I won't either.
Hey, how's it going, Coco Beware? It's Missionary from Wrestling Soup. You know, working so closely with Owen Hart, you have to have something inspirational that happened between you guys. I mean, you guys leaned on each other. You guys had such a successful tag team. Can you tell us an inspirational moment where you just stood back and looked at Owen and went, "Wow, that's awesome"?
Well, just watching him while I'm standing on the sideline, you know, standing on the apron of the ring, and watching his performance, the moves and things. Now, you guys like the guys in in the WWE, the TNA wrestling all around. They're doing all the high flying and stuff like that. I just look at Owen and I